Someone asked me the other day, Nas, why do you defend the undocumented? It's a simple question for me as a Black American. I remember and I understand what happens when a country decides that a whole group of people no longer deserve dignity. I defend them because there's no place in the universe where I'll agree and be okay with people being treated so inhumanely. I defend them because I've sat across the table from fathers who have to sneak to work in fear. I've sat across the table from mothers crying because they watch their children who don't know what deportation means, but they can feel it in their bones. And that's why I defend them. The question is, why aren't more people defending them? I defend them because I know the truth. Unlawful presence is not a crime. Overstaying a visa, not a crime. Being undocumented is not a crime. These are immigration civil offenses. These are not jailable offenses. People do not or should not be going to jail for these offenses. But the way we're treating these people today, it's almost like they're hardened criminals, and they're not. I've worked inside the system. I've sat across the table from these people. I know who they are. This, people, is not okay. What we're doing right now is not okay. I defend them because I have compassion. Compassion is not weakness, it's strength. I defend them because I've seen this movie before, and it starred my people. My people were once treated like this. Black Americans used to have to carry papers just to move around the city. My people were once the ones policed, detained, shackled, just for existing. We lived under a system that was designed to control our movement and strip us of our humanity. So when I see an immigrant today detained, numbered, shackled, humiliated, talked about as if they are a problem and not a people, I recognize the pattern. This country has a history of deciding who counts and who doesn't. And every generation has needed lawyers willing to push back. When I think about pushing back and I think about this work, I think about the giants of the 1950s and 1960s, the civil rights lawyers who saved my people, legal giants like Thurgood Marshall, who walked into hostile Southern courtrooms to dismantle segregation brick by brick. Constance Baker Motley, the first Black woman to argue before the Supreme Court. She represented the Freedom Riders and Dr. King. Charles Hamilton Houston, the architect of the legal attack on Jim Crow. Jack Greenberg, a Jewish civil rights lawyer who helped argue Brown versus the Board of Education when many Black attorneys weren't even allowed to enter those rooms. Morris Dees and Joseph Levin, white Southern lawyers who used the law to bankrupt the Klan. Arthur Kenoy, a Jewish constitutional lawyer who defended civil rights activists arrested for simply demanding dignity. Black, white, Jewish, they stood up because they knew injustice against one group threatens justice for all groups. And it wasn't just lawyers who pushed back. We had allies outside the courtroom who risked everything to fight for justice. People like Jane Fonda, Marlon Brando, and Jean Seberg. Jean Seberg was a white Hollywood actress who would have to get involved. It wasn't her problem, but she did. She stood in solidarity with Black people, so much so that the COINTELPRO program, ran by the infamous J. Edgar Hoover, developed a smear campaign to destroy her reputation. Yet she fought. She fought for the vulnerable. And today, the undocumented are the vulnerable. So I fight. It's a fact that no one can counter. Immigration defense is the civil rights work of our time. Detention without real due process, racial profiling, solitary confinement, family separation, and a system where 89% of unrepresented detainees are deported. So when people ask me why I'm fighting for the undocumented, I'm fighting for the people. I'm fighting for humanity. People are not illegal. Their existence is not a crime. And their humanity is not negotiable. I defend the undocumented because I refuse to let fear-based politics erase my humanity. I refuse to let cruelty become normalized. And I refuse to let this country forget its own damn history.